Hello and welcome to A Taste for the Road. My name is Scott and welcome to this 2018 Audi S4. So this is a project of several passions. Great cars and motorbikes, good food, independent coffee shops, a few family-owned wineries and the like, a little bit of history and some great driving roads. The goal of all of these reviews is to encourage you to try something new or to see something that you do know in a new way and share that with us in the comments below. You're always going to be the hero of these stories and reviews, and you're always going to get to wear the superhero cape, which I don't see a lot of here on YouTube, and we need to change that together. So today in this Audi S4, which we're going to go ahead and review, we're going to head south from Old Town Alexandria, which is west and a little bit south of Washington, D.C., across the Potomac, out through Fairfax Station, which was, as the name would suggest, a railroad station back in the 19th century, moving materials up from elsewhere in Virginia and other parts of the South to this more populated spot, and then head over into Clifton, Virginia, which has got a lot of great driving roads, a lot of historic byways, and very popular with motorcyclists like myself, as well as sports car enthusiasts. So we'll not stop for lunch at a Trattoria, and then continue on with the review of this interesting S4. So the Audi S4 has some interesting history as well, beginning as it did in the early 1990s, and there have been some pretty famous models as well. The B5, which was a twin turbo that folks could spin to the moon without it basically blowing up. The B6 and B7 with their sonorous V8s were definitely appealing to some, and the B8 with its supercharged V6, which predates this particular model. I actually had a chance to drive one last year. It was a 6-speed manual with the torque vectoring differential in the back, and just its elastic lunging motor was just deeply satisfying, and along with its other attributes and sport all-wheel drive, as obviously this one has as well, is just a special product, and I think one of the best products that Audi actually makes. It's really a sweet spot between the standard A4, and the RS. I think more broadly the S line has also been just a really nice place with which to compromise between just everyday practicality and something that actually has a little bit more, in some cases, a lot more punch. And that's, I think, been really appealing to a lot of Audi enthusiasts over the years. I think a good place to start with this V9 Type 8W S4 is in the interior, because Audi just does such a wonderful job, and I think, like many, sets the benchmark for what a performance sedan, or really anything that they make, should look like and feel like on the inside, and this S4 is certainly no exception. The materials, the fit and finish are really wonderful. I definitely appreciate all of the different surface materials. There's a soft dash here, which I'm sure helps quiet things down even more. The lovely carbon fiber that's here, and then really nice combination between the tech and then some traditional buttons. And I'm someone who does still like to press a button every once in a while just to heat my seat, or to, in this case, select some different drive modes from comfort to dynamic and individual. This has the Audi virtual cockpit, which is just really a tour de force. All sorts of information available. It is redundant here with this iPad-like tablet, but you can differentiate them and obviously customize to your heart's content. Again, but there's just a really nice level of fit and finish that I think other firms could continue to learn from. These seats, for example, are very, very comfortable. I've always enjoyed Audi's sports seats, and this set here is no exception. It's also in a very nice shade of darker red, more of a burgundy, which in contrast with the blacks and the grays and the carbon fiber, a little bit of silver here and there, gentle touches, is just, yeah, it's a nice place to be, whether you're on some tight twisties, you're on the motor state, or basically on some bumpy roads, and we've got plenty of those here in Northern Virginia as well. What's also notable here is the lack of NVH, or noise, vibration, and harshness. This has been a car so far today before lunch that has surprised me by how quiet it is. The B8 precedes this one that I test drove last year was something that gave a certain amount of communication and feedback. And this does as well, but it is a more peaceful ride, which I know has been a bit of a frustration for some, but I think for others actually is something that will be enjoyed and appreciated for what that is, for offering just after a long day at work or even a long drive when you have to get from point A to point B and it's several hundred miles, that you just feel a bit more refreshed. It's something we'll have to talk about a little bit later on after lunch, because I do think that Audi has very consciously shifted slightly the focus of this car, and I think more broadly of the Audi S lineup. One could say the RS products as well, but as part of a broader focus, I think, on efficiency and just the way they have chosen to reposition themselves slightly in the marketplace as it changes like any other. It's important to go ahead and note that. And then finally, of course, there's the performance. This is a single turbocharged 6-cylinder motor, all-wheel drive, of course, pumping out a little over 350 horsepower. At least that's the official figure. I'm, like many people, very suspicious of that, and I'm sure it pumps closer to more than 400 as I'm basically at sea level, and for those who are well above that, say in Colorado or in the Alps, it's probably still comfortably above 350 plus 369 foot-pounds of torque. Again, an official figure. I suspect it's quite a bit higher than that. 0 to 60, a little over 4 seconds, like its slightly older brother. 3,800 pounds it's hauling around with a 8-speed automatic gearbox. No twin clutch here, which again is an interesting note. But nevertheless is very, very potent. Off camera, I've tried a few quick bursts here and there, and you really have to pay attention, because sooner rather than later you are on someone's tail without really much effort at all, and that's it's an impressive thing for that level of the level of performance that it offers. And here, through a bit of tight, twisty pieces and stuff, everything's very tight. The steering doesn't have a lot of feedback. That's a traditional Audi trait, but it is on the heavier side, and you can direct it exactly where you want it to go here on some of these historic byways outside of Clifton. So we are just outside the village of Clifton, and the human could use some refueling after some of these very nice, tasty back roads. So let's go ahead and head in over to the Trattoria, which is really quite nice. I'd like to share that with you. Have some lunch, and then go ahead and finish out this review and continue it afterwards. So I'll see you there. That was a good lunch at Trattoria Villaggio over in Clifton. Ended up having a simple side salad or starter salad with a little bit of vinaigrette, margarita pizza, and a glass of Chianti Classico, which I always enjoy. It's definitely a solid choice if you happen to need to satisfy a variety of people, from the little ones all the way up to grandparents and whatnot. It's well worth a visit if you, again, have a lot of hungry people. So now that I've had a chance to drive this S4 some more into the afternoon and gotten a good handle on it, I think a nice place to transition from lunch is to talk about the experience and what this is like as an emotional device. And it's subtle. Audi products never typically shout, except for maybe the R8 or so, but this one is particularly quiet. Which I know for some is a bit of a disappointment, but the shift that Audi has made, I think, has been a very conscious one, and one that, frankly, I think we'll continue to see. Nevertheless, though, it is a satisfying car to drive. It does provide some quiet feedback in my seat through the steering wheel here, which is a nice size. It does, again, allow you to direct the car exactly where you want to put it. The all-wheel drive, lovely Quattro system is exceptionally sure-footed. And as an overall package, and think about what this car is being used for, which is as a daily device that's a bit more sporty than the A4 or competitive products, of course. that this really, I think, does go ahead and press some important or check off some important to-do list items for anyone who's going to be looking ultimately buying or leasing something like this. For me, there are two areas of compromise. One is the turbo lag, which in conjunction with the stop-start system, obviously coming off a red light or something like that, is very noticeable. This car in no way, shape, or form lacks poke, but you press the pedal, car comes to life, you wait a little bit more, and then finally you get underway. And you can easily disable it, which is really nice, and that's exactly what I've done all day today, and obviously that quickens things up. But you press that pedal and sometimes not a hell of a lot happens, and in certain situations I'd really just like instantaneous throttle response, and that's just not here. I think in time, like anyone, you could learn to manage it, but it is a little bit frustrating. And then number two is this car is rather quiet. The owner of this has removed the resonator, so there's a little bit more noise, but it's still a bit, it's essentially boomy. There's no induction bark up front at all, which is a pity. Its predecessor had just such a lovely lunging motor and really had a lot of feel to it. But it's very much by design and to be simply more efficient and to, again, I think, shift the ethos and the focus of this particular S product in a slightly different direction. On the topic of value, this is a car that can actually be had for a pretty significant discount. Since its introduction here in the States, it's actually been a rather soft seller. Some have suggested because it's too quiet. Others have made different arguments. But the end result is that this is a vehicle that, in some cases, as I always check ahead of time before I have this, create a review, is that discount is significant to be had. The family and friends and employee discount is actually available if you're patient and willing to negotiate. The owner of this, when I was talking with him this morning, was in fact patient and kept negotiating back and forth for quite a bit of time. And I suspect, although he didn't ask us, I want to be respectful and polite, that he was able to obtain a pretty decent discount to pick one of these up. Even area dealers have one or two on hand typically, and they are not at list price. To sum up this B9 S4, it's just a very accomplished sports sedan. There's really no other way to describe it. From the Audi cockpit, which is really class leading, to its fit and finish and material choices, it's a classy and elegant place to spend time. And I have certainly enjoyed today and had getting an opportunity to drive it on a wide variety of different roads. Some of them very twisty and turny and uneven pavement. The drive select system also is impressive and definitely has some clear differences amongst the different settings, which is great. Visibility is really quite nice, even for a small guy like myself, which is certainly appreciated. And I think it's a great choice if you're someone who's looking for an all-arounder that can do anything in all weathers and wants something that is quieter and that is again at a higher level of refinement. That has been absolutely noticeable today, and I think for those who are looking for that type of product, that this Audi S4 would be really quite a nice choice, and one that you could pick up at a bit of a discount, which is always feels good too. So I hope you found this video enjoyable. Please give it a thumbs up if you can. Subscribe if you'd enjoy being alerted to new videos once they become available here on atastefortheroad.com. Most importantly, please go out and create your own adventure, whether it's to see something new or something that you do know in a new way, and share that with us in the comments below. That's actually really important for the community. And with that, I think I will go ahead and bid you adieu, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao.